The latest detail is that further tsunami waves have struck Japan, both the northern island of Hokkaido and the main island of Honshu. The initial warnings were waves of up to 3 metres, but so far we've seen nothing close to that. The waves to have hit Hokkaido have been registered as 30 centimetres and 40 centimetres, and then the northern part of Honshu, which is the main island, the wave of up to 50 centimetres. So far, nothing serious quite yet to have hit Japan, but the danger, as the authorities are saying, is still not over yet, because it takes some time for these waves to roll through as well. These waves are now rolling throughout the Pacific Ocean as well, so more and more regions are being put on alert.
Just staying in Japan for now, Fukushima nuclear plant workers are in the process of being evacuated. Is that right, James?
Yeah, so this is pretty standard response in Japan. The attitude here is always, it's better to be safe than sorry. Keep in mind, this is one of the most geologically active countries in the world. Earthquakes are very common. Tsunami warnings like this are pretty common. Usually they're advisories, but there's always the message to the residents and workers here to be earthquake and tsunami prepared. So what we've seen is vision of workers throughout affected areas seeking higher ground and residents seeking higher ground. Perhaps that's driving on top of a hill, or perhaps that's going onto the roofs of offices or factories as well. So this is all pretty standard stuff, particularly with Fukushima. Obviously there will be some sensitivities around this, given that it suffered the huge devastation during the 2011 earthquake and tsunami, but this country is very well rehearsed to respond to tsunamis and earthquakes. So for a lot of people, they are simply just taking the attitude, better to be safe than sorry.
Now, tsunami warnings have been triggered elsewhere around the world, Guam, Hawaii. What else do you know about those warnings?
Well, at the moment, the warnings throughout the Pacific haven't changed since the initial earthquake. Really, the main centre of attention here is, of course, the Kamchatka Peninsula of Russia. That's the far east of Russia. That's where the primary concern still is, given that's where the magnitude 8.8 earthquake was. And there's been reports of damage to buildings, including a kindergarten, but no serious injuries yet. The worry now, both for that region and, of course, then the other countries that are on the Pacific Ocean, is aftershocks. And Russian authorities are saying that aftershocks may be of up to magnitude 7.5. That's still a very powerful earthquake. So even if these waves at the moment, as I mentioned earlier, haven't been as big as the initial warnings of 3 metres, it's still important for people in all these countries, whether it's Japan or the island of Hawaii, to remain vigilant, because this is obviously a dynamic situation. Very powerful earthquake, the most powerful since 1952 to hit that part of Russia. So powerful aftershocks are also expected.
Yeah, and those Russian scientists there, according to The Guardian, have called this quake a unique event, and they are warning of aftershocks that could last some time. What is your understanding of how that could play out?
Well, with all these earthquakes, you usually will get the biggest earthquake at first, and then the aftershocks will slowly die down. But of course, there will be some spikes. So the expectation is not, as I mentioned earlier, to have a magnitude 8.8 occur again, considering how rare it is, 1952, as I mentioned before. But certainly living in Japan, for instance, when there is an earthquake, you always have to be prepared for more. So over the next day or two, that's the expectation, to be prepared for more. And so the advice in Russia would be very similar to what we would be receiving in Japan.